the most mysterious tribe of the Sahara Desert through the eyes of explorers who encountered this tribe. In the depths of the enigmatic Sahara, where adventurous explorers traversed vast expanses encountering nothing but red-hot sands and few caravans struggling not to be buried by sudden and terrible sandstorms, there lived a tribe, the strangest and most mysterious from all the races of the world. Three French travelers about a century ago, who managed to locate her and live with her folks for weeks, gave her, because I'm translating this from a Greek article, and the article for tribe is phili, which is which is feminine, that's why. So for this tribe, they lived with this tribe for weeks, gave a vivid description of these strange people who lived completely isolated in the vast expanse of the desert. This tribe was called the Nemadi, and very strange because nomads comes from that, Nemadi. This tribe was neither of Arab origin nor did they come from any known indigenous tribes of North Africa, these nomads. Some considered the few members of the Nomadi tribe to be descendants of the famous Numidians, who were rivals of the Carthaginians. Probably later, after the Roman conquest, a part of them left and settled in the depths of the Sahara, which at that time had more oases and, in general, was not in the current form of aridity and nakedness. Still, other scholars considered the Nomadi as descendants of northern tribes, mainly Goths and Vandals, who invaded during the dark years of the Middle Ages, and after the conquest of Spain, found themselves in Africa. According to this version, after the raid of the Arabs, those who were saved from the massacre sought asylum in the interior of the desert. Some believe that the Nemadi were descendants of the Roman legionaries who had settled in Africa. In any case, the facial features and body type betrayed that they were not native Africans, as they bore more resemblance to the rest of the tribes of the wider region. Many thought that these lost desert nomads were the remaining remnants of Indo-European settlers of Africa from time immemorial. Although their language is probably of Arabic origin, it nevertheless had many peculiar words with an Indo-European root. Around 1900, the Nemadi were the poorest people on the planet. The only property of each family was a tent, some animal skins used for mattresses, 2 or 3 goats and dogs, camels and flocks, which were an indispensable necessity of the rest of the desert nomads, were for them an unimaginable luxury. Dogs were their greatest resource since they were exclusively engaged in hunting. The area over which they roamed, depended on the time of the year, was almost equal to the size of the whole of Greece, and yet their total number did not exceed 8,000 people. It's probable that in former times they were more numerous, but disease, privation, and terrible sandstorms gradually wiped them out. Dogs, those beloved companions of the strange nomads, also belonged to an unidentified breed. They were small, agile, colorful, and in a semi-wild state. They had unimaginable strength, and in order to protect their masters, they could deal with dozens of enemies and devour them. They were resistant to marches, the hot sun and thirst, while they were also gifted with the insurmountable sense of smell. They could detect the presence of a jackal, antelope, wild boar, or hyena from many kilometers away. These nomads, although Muslims, had as their main food the meat of the hunt, and especially wild boar. This, for the fanatical followers of Islam, is considered a great sin, and for this, after all, the other tribes of Africa detested the heretical Nomadi. The Nemadi answered to question. We ask Allah which is preferred, to eat the wild animals for living or to grab the dates of the oasis owners and steal foreign flock as their nomads do? And Allah in His wisdom told us, eat the wild animals, do not disturb any of your neighbors, and I have opened the door of paradise for you. The Nemadi also possessed the art of drying on the hot sand and curing the meats of wild animals. With these, they endured to live during the seasons of bad weather and lack of hunting. They rarely procured various articles of food and clothing by bartering with other nomads. Also, with the lean meats of wild animals, the Tiktars, they rented camels to transport their belongings during their long journeys. The members of this strange tribe, which did not resemble the rest of the African tribes at all, neither in appearance nor in habits, were engaged only in hunting. Their women looked after their goats, looked after their babies, and made the household clothes. And they lived in politeness. Now, in general, the Nomadi knew all the rare oases and springs of the Sahara. They sensed, like their dogs, an upcoming windstorm, and thus they fled to a safe place in time. They roamed vast areas in order to, and depending on the season, to find land with water and plenty of game. The Nemadi were peaceful. They did not bother anyone in the depths of the desert, but no one bothered to come all the way to bother them either. But in 1938, a scientific expedition was preparing to penetrate the deserts of the Sahara to study their manners, customs, and traces of surviving words of their ancient language in order to solve the mystery of the racial origin of the mysterious Nemadi tribe. The news was published in the newspaper Ethnos, meaning nation in Greek, and it was published in a Greek newspaper August 8, 1938. The most mysterious tribe of the Sahara, the Nomadi. And I've translated this for you from a Greek article. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.